Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price and welcome to Shadowboxruk.
That's good, man.
How
It's
are
good
you
to see
doing?
you.
And
I'm
you,
alright.
Lance Sergeant Natty.
Lance Sergeant, yeah, that's right.
Is that like quite high up?
It's only a rank above a lance corporal, so I'm climbing my way up the ladder. It's a bit, it's a tough one because um, you see, if you're in the elite spots program, you're kind of like caught in a limbo. It's either you chase whatever career you're doing, like boxing, or you take the time out to come and do all the other soldiering stuff. Because once your boxing career is done, it could be done within just a single injury, and then you have something to fall back on. So just making sure that I balance both. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I think we've just seen Barry, boxing coach, join.
Uh,
Hiya, Barry. You all right? So listen, nice to see you. For the people that don't know you, this is Natty Ngwenya. He is let's try and remember. Former, there's loads. National champion, Three
yeah.
Nations champion, Armed Forces champion, GB champion ×3. Anything else? Bit greedy.
Southern Area Championship and amongst others, yeah.
And some semi-finals and finals
Yeah.
along the way.
Yep,
So
that's right.
we could say you are a talent.
I like to think so, yeah. I like to think so. I do all right. I do all right. I'm just a persistent guy. Like you
Yeah.
were just mentioning about the titles. Before I won the national title, I had to try 3 times.
Hmm.
So I had to, first time I got there. Actually, you was there because we met
Hmm.
when I was doing the novice speeds in like
Hmm.
2014, and I had to come across the likes of Fraser Clark, you
Hmm.
know, all these other guys in the finals, and I didn't make it. I was just falling short, but it was just persistence. I knew I could do it, but it was a matter of when.
To be fair, isn't that what this game's about? To be fair, Natty,
Yeah, it is.
you know,
It is.
it really is. So listen, for the people that don't know, you have turned over into the professional paid ranks.
Yep.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
with Warren Promotions.
Yes, I'm with Warren Boxing Management. Good people, and I think we've got a nice little stable going on. I was a bit sad, not sad in a way, but we're creatures of the habit, aren't we?
Mm.
Being with the army team for X amount of years, even though it's an individual sport, but it's
Mm.
that camaraderie with bonding with the others, going to the gym, having the banter and training together, going away on camps and whatnot. In the pro ranks, it's a little bit different, isn't it? Like you're
Mm.
on your own. But I think with Warren Boxing Management, it's quite good because I've got the likes of Masood down in Eben Kings with me. I've got Steph down
Mm.
there, and I know Sheriff just joined as well. So
Mm.
you still get that little you know group of people that you work with. You like-minded people, and you're chasing after the same thing.
So let's talk firstly before we go into the whole training side. How are you allowed to maintain a career in the army, in the armed forces, and then still and to box as a professional, basically? How are you able to do that? Do you have to kind of go and get permission? How does it work?
Yes, literally, I didn't know about this joining the army. Put it
Mm.
this way, the army is a big, big, big place. I didn't know about the sporting side of things. I
Mm.
just was a kid who was looking, to get out of trouble. I knew the army was gonna set me straight in a way. It's so cliche saying that, do you know what I mean? Like I joined the army to get out of trouble, but it is what it is.
Mm.
And once I got in, I just found out about this. So basically, in a regiment, you do intercompany boxing. They,
Mm.
put you into different divisions and whatnot, and then you fight against each other. And whoever wins out of that goes on to fight against other regiments, and then you get trials for the army boxing team. That's when I found out about the sport. So it's not just about boxing, you know. The army has produced some Olympians, gold medalists as well. You know, we've got Major Heather Stannings, who's a two-time Olympic gold medalist in rowing. You've got, you know, you've got swimming, you've got basketball, you've got all these sort of things. And I was quite shocked, to be honest, you know, and never having boxed in my life before, I just thought I'd give it a crack, and I've done so well. And they do give you the opportunity to chase a career outside the military one, because they do understand that not all of us are meant to be a captain or, you know, a sergeant major and all that sort of stuff. So they're quite supportive, you know, in letting the troops, you know, pursue different career paths, because this was brought along, you know, during the World War times. So when the troops had to go fight, you know, they're staying in the trenches and all that sort of stuff. And it was quite hard, if you can imagine, back in them days. And then when they had that little R&R, like a couple of days off, just to come back, freshen up and do all that sort of stuff, they thought, you know, how can we keep them engaged, you know, keep them going, boost their morale, so to speak. And that's when the sports side of things came about. And it's been going ever since. And now it's a big, solid foundation that's been going on for years.
I feel like you're trying to recruit me.
A little bit. It's never too late, you know. But yeah, that's how it came about.
I don't do very well with rules. But what I've always kind of, I don't think I've even ever had this conversation with you. I know that you've said in the past that, you know, you joined because you wanted to keep yourself on the straight and narrow. I imagine, I could be wrong, but I imagine a lot of people join for that reason. Would I be correct in thinking? Oh
yeah, 100%, 100%.
So you're from London, aren't you?
Yeah, southeast. Yeah,
South London. Yeah. So you know, you're getting into a bit of trouble as a young South London kid, Nigerian parents.
Nah, South African.
How do you? Sorry, South African.
Yeah, South African mixed with a bit of Zimbabwean. So my family is like
mixed.
It's a big family. You know, in my family you got South African, you got Zimbabwean, you got Nigerian, you got British. It's a big family.
But how do you get from being a kid in South London? You know, what was the moment that made you join the army? The British Armed Forces. Were you walking down the street and suddenly, or were you recruited? How did it work?
So there used to be a camp down in Woolwich. It's still there anyway. It's still there in Woolwich. Yeah. I used to walk past there, and obviously I didn't care much for school. It sounds bad to say, but it went for me. So you know, it is what it is. So dropped out of school. I always knew I wanted to do something with my life along those lines, because I was always a competitive kid. You know, when we finish church on a Sunday and they ask the kids to move the chairs, if I see someone my age lifting 2 chairs, I had to go lift 3 or 4. Do you know what I mean? I've always had that in me. I was just like, nah, I'm not having it. Okay, if you're lifting 2, I'm gonna lift 3. If you lift 3, I'll lift 4. Do you know what I mean? So I always had that in me. So I tried to join in 2006, but this was back when you had to fill in the application forms, you know, send them away, and they could take 2 to 3 months. It went like nowadays where you can just sign up online, they can get back at you within, you know, a couple of days. It took long. So I thought, you know what, I ain't got time for that. I'm gonna, you know, run the street with the boys and that. I thought I was bad. But anyway, it got a little bit sticky, and you know, I had a close call. You know, I had to have a little chat with myself. It was just like, you know, if I was to get caught up in this situation, what it was, you know, I could just imagine the outcome of it. And the person that came into my mind was my nana. I was more shook of my nana than the police. I was just thinking, if that happened, what would I say to Nan? Like,
the shame.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I do.
Yeah. And Nana don't play, regardless how old I am, she'll still give man licks.
That is more scary than the police, believe you and me.
Yeah. So I had to move away. I had an auntie who stayed in Stoke-on-Trent at the time. So I went off to Stoke just to lay low for a little bit, and was just having breakfast in the morning. And my auntie was like, "Why don't you just try, like, you know, join the army like you tried to do back in 2006? This was 2008 at the time, and I did, and I haven't looked back since then. You know.
Was it difficult though for like the kids that you were running about with on the street, and I guess when anybody tries to move forward in their life, was there any kind of pushback from, let's say, supposed friends? Was there any pushback from them?
Social media went big back then. I think Facebook was just came about, you know what I mean? I didn't go home. The other thing that done me some good, because you do your basic training in it's near Darlington. It's called Catterick, way up north. So traveling home every weekend went an option for me. So I literally just stayed in camp. Other kids who traveled back home. So I pretty much spent all that 6 months up north, and I didn't come back home. So I didn't, you know, have to come back and mix with the boys, and then having to go back and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of like isolated myself, you know, from that situation. And till this day, I think outside the army, besides the people that I've met around the boxing circuit, outside the army, from my old mates from back in the day, I'm only talking to like a handful of people, like no more than 3. You know, so I think it went on to show me that them people weren't meant to be in my life anyway. You know, so 11 years down the line, I'm still talking to like 3 of them. So that means they're the real ones. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, people come into your life sometimes just for a period of time. If they came into your life to say, this isn't the way you're supposed to be going, Natty, that was enough. Do you know what I mean?
True.
That you caught the message and you moved on. You know, you had such a successful amateur. I mean, I remember people being a bit sort of, let's be fair, you love to tie people up and frustrate them. That's the game. Do you know what makes me laugh though, Natty? Because it's like he's tying me up and he's doing this. It's like, we'll just work out how to beat him.
Do something about it. We all got 2 arms, haven't we? So if I'm tying you, untie yourself. Do you know what I mean?
It's
the king of entanglements. Do you know what I mean? I'm entangling people.
Leaning all over them with your heavy self. But yeah, it's been great to see you kind of juggle those 2 careers, the boxing and the armed forces side of things. How difficult or easy is that?
To be fair, I've been quite, you know, lucky and fortunate, because there's an elite sports program for any athlete, and you know, it's down to your unit, because I'm with the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards, and they've been quite fortunate just to give me the time to train. You know, yeah, and it's good for recruiting as well, because most people, if you mention army, they just think war. Do you know what I mean? That's all that comes into mind. To be fair,
it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's part of it, but the army is just a big, you know, place that there's there's more to it than just war. Put it that way.
To be fair though, come on, Natty, when push comes to shove, if a war happens, you have to go. It's not like you could opt out.
Yes. So yeah, if I'm needed, yeah, I'll be going like that. Do you know what I mean? I can't. Not that I miss it, but it's what you're trained to do. You know, if I'm to ask to go back to Afghanistan for a good cause, which I will in a heartbeat, you know. But it's one thing that I had to experience. I was quite scared actually on my first time going over there. I was just fresh out of training, you know, 3 months out of training. You do the ceremony duties, you know, the guys that's then outside Buckingham Palace with you know, tunics and bearskins. You know, you have to do that for the first few months. And before I knew it, I was in Afghanistan. I was only 20 years old. You know, it was a bit terrifying. You know, like yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, so you're there in Afghanistan, and of course, obviously, this is something that you've trained to do.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing now with the boxing, this is nothing, because you've already faced danger and fear, and you can kind of know how you navigate that.
Yeah. What I took away from, from the army bringing into the boxing side of things is switched on aggression. You have a on and off button, because during training, if you go through training, basic training, you do this bayonet training. So basically, you just get destroyed. Like, you wake up early in the morning, like 3 or 4. They're just trying to frustrate you, just get under your skin, get you riled up. So you're doing unnecessary exercises. And then when it comes to do bayonet training, you're pissed off. You've been up all night. You've been getting messed about, do this, do that. And then it's go time. You have to go through, stabbing all these dummies and dummies. Like, it's kind of like assault course. So you're going through this assault course. You're doing whatever you have to do. And when you get to the end of it, tap her on the shoulder. Listen, calm down. It's done. And then within a split second, you just have to, switch that off. So I kind of like took that and kind of brought it into my boxing, because most of the people that you fight, you probably never met and probably never meet again. And, you just have to switch on and keep a cool head. If someone is fouling you, most people tend to fight with their heart, not this. And then that's how you end up, making mistakes and paying for it.
So in a respect, I'm understanding that you're saying there's just transferable skills of you cannot fight with emotion, and in the same way as you can't fight when you go to Afghanistan and places like that, as a soldier, you can't fight from emotion. No. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, I'm always thinking, like, you know what, it can't be, I'm not going to say that you're not going to get nerves, but realistically, this is nothing to you. And I don't mean that I don't mean to put the sport of boxing down or your opponent when you face your opponents down, but this is nothing to you, isn't it?
Yeah, the nerves are still there, but in terms of being scared, nah.
Yeah.
It's just another day in the office, really. What I'm more nervous about is just, not performing to the best of my ability, but as far as facing another man, just, it is what it is.
And so you've got your trainer, Steve. You come up to London, and you were saying that, obviously, I know that you train with Masoods and that. How is all?
Yeah.
Because it always looks like fun, although it looks like hard work plus fun.
Yeah. It's a match made in heaven, to be honest, because you can't be old business and not have a laugh. But every time I'm down there, we're always having a laugh, and it makes the training that easy, So at the minute, I'm down in Aldershot, but I'm transferring. I'm moving back to London. I'm moving back home, so I'm gonna be in and around the Victoria area. So I'm gonna be, training on a regular with Steve pretty much every day. And Steve's good trainer. Even though there's like 3 or 4 of us at the same time, we still get that individual attention that we need from him. Do you know what I mean?
He strikes me as a person that he's in it for the boxing rather than for the fame and all of that side of things. And he strikes me as a person that really understands, not only technically, etc., but really understands how a boxer thinks and how to get the best out of a boxer. I've only met him a couple of times, but I like what I see, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, he's patient, because when me and Masoods are together, we do give him a headache, and Steve is a bit camera shy as well. He's not into cameras like that, but he's patient. And when I first started working with him, I just wanted to impress him. Like, we'll do something, and if I'm getting it wrong, I get frustrated, and then the session will be done. On my way home, I'll text him. I'm like, "Oh, bro, listen, I'll do better tomorrow. I'll do better." He's like, listen, don't worry about it. You just got back into the game. You're just gonna build on top of what we've done yesterday, and just gonna keep going and get you up there. Do you know what I mean? So he's patient and understanding.
To be fair though, you've got to understand that you're trying to undo some of the stuff that you know. It's going to take time, and obviously there's a part of you that's super competitive, but equally there must be a thrill though to learn that new stuff, surely.
Yeah, 100%. I think with him, I've dropped like a few of my old habits, because if you're going to start with someone new, you know, I think it's like they say, you know, you cannot fill a cup that's already full. You know, check your ego at the door, empty your
Yes.
cup. You know, he kind of like brought me down. You know, before the whole lockdown situation happened, when I started working with him, we just started from scratch. When we started the first few weeks, I didn't even do no more than a 3-hit combo. Literally, no more three to four punches. That was it. And you know, after a few weeks, we started adding on to stuff. You know, and I started feeling confident in what I was doing and what I was learning from him.
Is it true though that Masoods been bashing you up in sparring? I'm joking.
Do you know? Okay, let's put it this way: Masood is a nutter. He's
I know.
crazy. He's a nutter, and he's strong as hell as well. Proper strong, and he'll fight anyone. Not scared. He hasn't got a scared bone in his body, and he's crazy. But yeah, Masood is crazy. Let's put it that way.
So has there been any news of, like, you know, I know congratulations as well to Masood, because I'm so happy finally he's getting out on the 13th. It might be the 13th or the 11th, 13th of November. Is there any sign of you being out this year?
Nah, not this year. The thing is as well, I don't want it to feel rushed at all. You know, I would love to get into the mix, because, you know, the cruiserweight domestically is booming. You know, it's got good lads in there. You know, I can't wait, you know, to get up in the mix. But as of fighting this year, I doubt it. But early next year, 100%.
How do you feel that, okay, at the moment, with the current climate, you're getting more 50-50 fights, less of a, let's say, a structured way of guiding someone's career? I'm not, if that's right. I know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, you would probably have fought more journeymen, step by step, gone through the stages. Now, here we are. You might get a 50-50 for a debut. How do you feel about that?
Look, the thing is, I'll put it this way. I don't really care who I fight. I just want to get out there, and I will do the job to the best of my ability, honestly, because, you know, no fighter trains or prepares to lose. If you do, you're in the wrong business at all. We all know how it starts. Obviously, you fight a few gentlemen and, you know, gradually, you know, go up in opponents and stuff like that. Whatever they put in front of me, I'll just have to deal with it. You know, like George Joyce, he had to get like a fast track, didn't he? He didn't start with gentlemen and all that sort of stuff because of his pedigree, maybe his age as well, but he's doing very well.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't bother me at all.
I believe you as well. I absolutely believe you. What do you think of some of the fights that have happened recently? A few upsets, more than a few. In some respects, I think it's good for the sport, if that makes sense, because, you know, it's now a little bit more like UFC, where it's like, okay, all you do, if you get a loss, push yourself down, come back. Do you know what I mean? What are your thoughts on sort of what's been happening on the pro scene?
There's this stigma about losing your all that never used to matter. Like back then, obviously, you know, I'm not a historian, obviously, but I watched loads of old fights and stuff like that. You know, Bernard Hopkins lost his pro debut amongst a few other fighters, but he went on to become a legend in his own right. And, you know, look at the likes of Nigel, but I say Nigel, but I love him because he used to be in the army as well. So the likes of Nigel Byrne, Chris Eubank, all these British legends, they've lost, but there are legends nonetheless.
Exactly.
So if you do lose, just bounce back up.
I'll be honest, I don't care. I care obviously for the person, but I don't care if someone's had a loss because I love boxing. And I guess because we come from the amateur scene, it's like, well, you come again.
Yeah. That is it.
It's as simple as that.
And in the amateur scene, you can't duck no one. You just fight whoever's in front of you to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, I think if pro boxing is like that, it would be very, very interesting. We'll get incredible fights all the time. Because in the amateurs, you can't pick and choose who you fight.
I think it will be a more, dare I say, honest. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, I can't think of a better
It's a bit
word.
more to it. It's a bit more to it. And when money is involved,
exactly.
It's a little bit more to it than just, I want to fight him. Let's make it happen. Boom. It's not that easy.
And I don't think it's, to be fair, I don't think it's the fighters. Well, it's not the fighters. The fighters, like you say, like you've just said, they want to get out, they want to fight.
Yeah.
But there's a process and there's money involved. And what I dislike, I have to say, about the pro scene is as soon as someone loses, everyone does one. That annoys the hell out of me.
It's this boxing. The boxing scene has got a lot of trolls, man. A lot of trolls. Yeah. The thing is, with people, everyone is entitled to say whatever you want, right? But what they don't realize, all they see you is going out there on the main stage and performing for 12 rounds or however many rounds you're doing. But they don't take into account, the training behind the doors, preparing for that fight. You could be going out there to do a 4-rounder, but you spent the last 3 months getting ready for that fight, and you're sparring 12, 6, or whatever, how many rounds you're doing, and you're doing that on a daily basis. And once you lose, it's a bit unfair for people to like, do you know what? I think you should retire. He's useless. He's this and that. I think boxing fans need to be a little bit more lenient and just put themselves in the boxer's shoes.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's kind of
I totally agree. I don't know if you saw the live that I did earlier on with Jonathan O'Brien. He's the coach to Joe Law. Gosh, I have to think.
Joe Laws.
But yeah, Joe Laws. Basically, you know what happened at the weekend, and of course the trolls have come out.
Oh
obvious. And I think it's harsh. And if you're a real boxing person like we are, I felt for the kid. I felt
100%.
I felt for the kid. I felt on one side cracking shot, of course, and then on the other side, I felt for the kid. I really felt for him.
Yeah.
It's a tough game, isn't it?
Joe Laws, I know him from the amateur. He's tough. Like for him to, get knocked down, he was fighting. Isn't it? He's strong, man. He must be really, really strong because Joe Laws is a tough kid. Yeah. He's a tough kid. I have no doubt he's going to bounce back up, but it is what, like we always say, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you excited though? You must be like just chomping at the bit to get in and show what you can do, because I don't think people are ready. I don't think people are ready for what you've got. To be fair,
I'm patiently waiting. Really am. I'm a firm believer of, everything in its own time. God don't make mistakes. So, whenever it is, I'm gonna turn up 1,000%. And I'm looking at the likes of, Billum Smith. He's doing amazing things. In the boxing scene, he's got the Commonwealth. The cruiserweight Commonwealth title. He's looking to, Chris Billum Smith is looking to, unify. Because I think Riappo just vacated the British title, so it's him and Dion Jumar.
So you're obviously making sure you're keeping an eye on what's going on the scene.
100%. Sorry, just gonna move.
Nice.
On. Yeah, I am, because it's all these guys that we've fought in the amateurs. Our paths have crossed. I have no doubt they're going to cross in the pro ranks. And whether you won or lost in amateurs, leave that behind. I do not take anything that I've done in the amateurs into the pro game, because it's a different ball game. And these guys are more seasoned than I am in the pro scene. You know, they've got their rounds in, they're doing all that sort of stuff. And I'm just waiting for my opportunity, you know, just to get in the mix.
But you must feel, when you're watching them, you must feel like, I'm all right. I think I could step up to the plate with such and such, or, you know, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we was at a we was at a London Fashion Week in Savoy Hotel, and one of my mates was doing the runway, Lamin, and Riakpo was there. He was doing the runway as well. So that was the first time meeting him in person. At the time he was still holding the British title and the WBA interim. And obviously we were just chatting, you know, oh yeah, I've seen you fight XYZ, and I was just stood next to him, was just, you know, trying to. I was just.
See how tall he was.
Yeah. I was on the slide. I was just like gauging where my shoulder is. I'm like, okay, yeah.
To be fair, he never won an ABA title. Never won an ABA title. I remember being handing up in his corner one year when he was in the elites, semi-finals, because he didn't get to the final. So you could say you have that over him.
Never did Billum Smith. He never won the ABAs.
Yeah.
But look at him now. So I was just, you know, the little things is just like gauging myself. Like maybe one day our paths will cross, because I feel better after seeing my opponent. So, you know, because when if I know him, it's better. If I don't, I just visualize. You know, when I'm out going for my runs,
yes,
and
I know exactly what you're saying.
I just play the fight over and over again in my head. But if I can, you know, put the face in, I'm just like, okay, I know what he looks like. I know the height. Right. Okay. How am I going to deal with him? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and then just, you know, visualize it. And most of the time, it came to fruition. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I was doing when I met Riakpo. It was just like.
Because you most of the people you fight are taller than you anyway, aren't they? I mean, you fought Ben
Vickers.
Thank you. Ben Vickers is taller than you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else I've seen you fight.
Ryan Hatton.
Yeah.
Chris Billum Smith.
And you just lean all over them.
Vidal Riley. Yeah, Vidal Riley.
Leaning with the big arms.
Yeah. I have to be rough. And then
it does. It's like you can see, like, oh man.
Yeah, because I can't give that ground up, because they're just gonna kick me at bay with that jab. They're just gonna, you know, ping my head all day. So I have to be in there in their chest and just frustrate them. And once they start complaining, I'm like, boom, I got you.
Yeah, I've got them emotionally. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, for anybody, they've got to find a way to deal with a boxer like you. You know, it's difficult for someone who boxes, because you're just going to get in there, get dirty, get rough, make it look ugly,
like
and get the win.
I think I'm not trying to diss him or nothing like, but with Vickers, once he starts complaining, but the things that I'm doing is nothing illegal. You know what I mean? I'm just playing to my strength. Absolutely. You do yours. Don't complain and say I'm rushing this. Nah, sort out your game plan with your corner before you come out. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna play to my strengths, obviously, which is be up close. But once you start complaining, and I know I've frustrated you, that's when I can, you know, relax a bit and start boxing, because I know I've got you already. That's how we deal with them.
I imagine though that you're mentally super strong.
Yeah, it wasn't always that way, you know, but yeah, it's just something like, you know, physically and mentally robustness is something that took time to, you know, to build up. But it's there though. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I can imagine actually. Is that something that you guys work on regularly as soldiers, or, you know, is that just something that you've gone off and you've kind of done your own research and
I think I had a head start, you know, amongst other people, because obviously black households, you know how it is.
It's true.
You know how it is. There's no time for being, you know,
mollycoddled.
yes.
There's
You
no
do
time for
something
that, darling.
you do something wrong, you get licks. And
It's
when you
true.
get licks, right?
You get hard-headed.
Mom or dad won't want baby you. Ah, sorry, I didn't mean.
Nope.
Nah, none of that.
It's
You
true.
know you done wrong. Yeah, you got to pay for it. Do you know what I mean?
Feel for me. I grew up, right, even though I grew up here, I also grew up in Trinidad.
Yeah.
My skin is thick, boy.
Trust me, it's different, isn't it? It's like,
licks?
yeah,
Jesus.
like even, do you know what? If you were caught doing something wrong by your neighbor, you rather them give you licks, yeah, than them going home to tell your parents what you were doing out on the street. So you will get licks from your neighbor for being naughty, right? And then she's gonna go tell on you anyway.
And you get licks.
So now you're gonna embarrass me in front of the neighbor, and then you get double licks. So yes, like you say, the skin is already tough, you know. But obviously being out there on, you know, 2 different operational tours, you know, you get to deal with casualties. So if someone's been shot or leg been blown off, that sort of thing, regardless if it's your mate, you've got to deal with the threat first. Even though someone is, if they're screaming, cool, I know they're alive. Do you know what I mean? So you exactly. So we get trained to be team medics and all that sort of stuff, how to deal with these kind of situations, but emotionally as well, because if your mate is hit, you can't then just turn your back on the firefight and deal with him. You've got to take care of the threat first, you know. So cut out all the emotions. Could be your best mate out there, you know, bleeding to death, but you have to deal with that, because if you don't, then you might end up where he is as well. Do you know what I mean? So that sort of thing, you know, kind of like toughens you up here and there. You know?
I'm also wondering, so you've got a situation where I'm guessing, because you're in the armed forces, but you're also on social media. Can that be a double-edged sword in terms of not revealing too much, etc.? Because I'm actually quite surprised I get to see inside your bedroom.
Oh yeah, my little gaff. You know, it's not too bad. But there is certain things that you can say and what you can't say. Obviously, you do get media training and stuff like that. So if something is above my pay grade, I'll just say, you know, I will endeavor to find out X, Y, Z. If not, I can direct you to a better person, best qualified to answer those sort of questions. Most likely be an officer or above. Do you know what I mean? But
I mean, in terms of, like, you know, you're going to get, at some point, you're going to get some pushback from social media.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle that? If you've not had it up until this point, how will you handle that?
Couldn't give it. To be fair, I don't break that easy, man. Do you know what I mean? I do get certain people that are literally interested in you know, joining the army, because how are you in the army doing this and then you're doing boxing as well? So they're quite intrigued. Like, I want to know. I've got time for people like that. I think the other day I posted something a few weeks ago, and you know, one of them trolls that have like a page but no post, no nothing. So clearly it's a fake profile.
I know them well.
Yeah, he's like, he says something like, look at this sellout working
I would
for the
ask
colonizer.
you about snakes, says Damien.
Oh,
I would ask you about snakes. Is that a mate of yours?
Yeah, he's oh mate, I can't believe he just said that. So he's a mate of mine. So when I first came into battalion, he's one of the guys that have been in the army quite, you know, longer than I have anyway. But he's left the army now. He resides in Canada. I don't like snakes.
And he probably knows that. It's probably why he said it, innit?
Yeah, I don't do well with snakes.
Can we go back to you were saying about
Trolls, yeah.
You've had trolls and people saying about you're a sellout or whatever because you've joined the army. You can never please anyone, trust me.
100%. That's one
Ebony
thing.
Jones, Miss Ebony Jones has just joined us and had a little wave. Bloody hell, she's still in the army.
Yes, she is.
Quality fighter.
Great fighter.
Oh.
She's rough, ain't she?
Oh.
Talk about me being rough. She is rough.
She's quality.
She is rough.
If we want to talk about, there's this whole thing at the moment, and she must feel it as well. Everyone's saying, quite rightly so, brilliant, that there are more eyes on female boxing, right? There's more eyes on female boxing and boxers. But let's be fair. There are some very, very good and have been some extremely talented female fighters out there. It's just that people outside of the game are now, becoming attuned to it. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I think, obviously, with different promotions, because they had to cut off certain weight classes for the males so they can incorporate more female weight classes into the Olympics. And the casual fans didn't know about that. So to them, it didn't exist. But you got so many. Even now, you got Kaz, Carice, great fighter. You got the likes of Sandy Ryan. You got Ebony Jones. You got Tori.
Gemma. And Dubois. I mean, these people would, to be fair, would come into the pro scene and slap the shit out of certain people. Am I lying?
So many
Am I
people.
lying to you?
You got, I don't know if you remember
Ebony Jones as well. I don't know. Could she not turn up? If they came into the pro scene and there was some absolutely fantastic fighters on the pro scene, female fighters. So there's a top level and there's some in between and then there's a real low level. But there were some top-class amateurs that would come in and slap the living shit out of people. Sorry, I had to swear.
To be honest, I'll bet money right now. If if 3010 Pro, from what I've seen, from the Army boxing team, I will say Carice definitely gonna be a world champion. Ebony, no shadow of a doubt. Tori, you got Shanice James as well.
Absolutely.
Shanice's style is built for the pro scene. All these girls, they're doing amazing things.
So I just got to ask you I've got one question. How are you such a good boxer, Natty? And do you have any tips for me for the amateurs? Because I'm an amateur boxer for Priory Park Boxing Club. And that's Danny Boxer Champ. That was long, Danny.
Yeah. The tips is, do you know what? Like we were saying before, persistence is key. In boxing, you're gonna have some losses. If you don't, well done to you. But once you fall, know that you can always come back again, and know your why. Know your why you want to do it, because there have been some people that get on an elite sports program in the army thinking, okay, if I join the army boxing team, I'm not gonna do my regular job, right? I'm just gonna train for a living, and then they come to the army team. And then you're doing 3-4 sessions a day. And after a week, they're like, do you know what? I don't think this is for me.
I'm not feeling it.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not built for it. They're thinking they're coming in for a little easy ride. But if you know your why, you're sorted. And then persistence. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'll say to him. Be persistent.
Going back to what we were talking about, where are you going to start making me some money? That's somebody. It's got to be someone Mark.
Oh, Mark.
And the merciless boxer, Mark. How you doing, sweetie? You all right? Listen, going back to the kind of the amateur scene, and yes, we're not trying to disrespect the pro scene before anyone starts, but listen, there are some quality fighters coming out of that. And like you've just said, the training. Listen, I remember when anybody, Natty, used to think, right, okay, who am I boxing? I got someone from the army. Shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
To be fair, man, like honestly, if you look at it, obviously, boxing is an individual sport, but we used to look at it as a collective. Like when the season is done, and we're just tallying up, doing all the numbers, thinking, okay, I think like around, when the ABS was held in Liverpool. Yeah, like 2015 and 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 and
Oh, actually,
16.
it was. I'll tell you when it was. It was 16, I'm sure, because I
Yeah,
was in Italy, and then I think I came back and went to it. If I
yeah,
remember rightly.
twice in a row. Like it was 15 and 16. So we're just tallying up things. We're like, rah, okay, we've came back with 4 bronze. We got 3 silver. We got this and that as a team. Do you know what I mean? So the army boxing team as a team, we used to shine quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it was probably one of the main clubs that used to come with a lot of female boxers. A lot will come with like literally just from one club, come like 6, 7 girls.
Yeah.
You know, so the army's always been pro female boxing. You know, you got the likes of Alana. You know,
Yes, Alana Murphy.
do you know what I
Well,
mean,
she's not
yeah,
called Murphy now, is she?
yeah. She's married now. Yeah, you know,
Quality boxer.
Her and Katie Taylor were the first female
Yeah,
boxers. You know, to box in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah. I judged her on a few occasions, actually. Not Katie
yeah,
Taylor, unfortunately, but Alana. And I just and again, a person that, you know, I'm not sure if I like this word spoiling, because it's like they're doing what they need to do to stop you working. But for lack of a better word, let's use spoiling, right? There was this big thing about how she used to spoil, but she used to win.
Do you know what? Right. So if I'm fighting in the ABA finals,
Yeah,
and the year's gone by, and people
yeah.
are talking about it, would they say, "Oh, 90 won it that way because he fought that way," or in the history books is going to say, "2019 ABA champion, my name is going to be there." There's not going to be a description of how I won the fight.
Yeah.
Do you know
The
what I
latter,
mean?
yeah. And to be fair, that's your job.
It is.
That's
It
your
is.
job.
It's like people saying, "Oh, you run a lot. So you want me to go and stand smack bang in the center of the ring and just trade punches with you? Am I stupid or something?"
Because you're an idiot.
You know?
Okay, let's talk about that, because I see that a lot, right? Where, oh, if not just about you, just in general, oh, he ran or she ran. What's your point?
You got legs.
What is your point?
Okay, so if I'm running, okay, if I'm trying to hit someone personally and they're moving about, well, I will try
Slow
and
them
cut
down.
you off. Exactly. I'll cut you off, hit you to the body, make sure you don't use those legs no more. There's plenty
Yes.
other options that you can do. You can set traps, feign to go right, hit me with the left. There's so many things that you can do. So
Yeah.
if I tie you up and spin you off, I'm not.
Sorry.
I'm not
I
playing by the
break
rules no
someone's
more.
heart whilst
Do you
doing
know what I
it.
mean? What do you want me to do?
It's true.
Yeah, it's
I have
so
no
many
problem
things.
with that.
Yeah,
Even listen, to the point, even Natty, even if I was in the opposite corner to you, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this to people before that I've cornered, right? And you can tell they want to smash me in the face, but they daren't. But
yeah,
the thing is, I'm saying that person is just doing what they need to do. You figure out, we've got to figure out, that's our job.
yeah.
Figure it out.
As a corner person, right? You're not watching your fighter. You're watching what I'm doing. So when seconds is cold, boom. You know what your boxer is doing already because you lot got a game plan, ain't you? You're watching what the other person is doing. Okay, do you know what? Every time you throw that, he runs around to the left. So what I want you to do, feint there, hit him to the body on the left hand side. It's simple. So you can't just okay. So clearly I'm doing something right because I've only lost like 9 times, and it's all been national or international bout.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know
Top
what I
level.
mean?
It's not.
Top level.
And before we say it, there's nothing wrong with losing at club level. We're just making a point. The fact that Natty is just done.
Most people that say that is people that lost to me.
Listen, you're not responsible. This is what I've learned for anybody else's thoughts and feelings, Natty. At the end of the day, you do you. And I say that for all boxers. You've got to do you. There's always something that I've learned. All jokes aside, says Damien. All jokes aside, I'm going to read this out. I am proud of this boy. Many hurdles have been placed in your path, mate. Sky is the limit, my brother. And that's Damien Booth.
Thank you, bro.
To be fair, I got a bit choked then.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
That's nice. But yeah, to be fair, that is. I'm not one. Anyone that knows me and has had me as their coach, I'm not one for blowing smoke up of backsides. I'm not one for necessarily agreeing with my fighter. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. If I think they've lost, I'll tell them.
True.
Not that happened that much when I was in the corner. Just saying. Just saying.
It is. The thing is, though, all what we said, you cannot argue with the results. Let's look at Lawrence Okoli, right? Not everyone's cup of tea, right? But you cannot argue with his results. He's won everything, all the way to European title. So now he's probably looking for a world title.
I don't think they dislike him as a person.
No, not as a person. His style of fighting.
Yeah. Yes.
His style of fighting.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought, okay, Isaac Chamberlain is a bit of a better boxer, ring IQ than Lawrence. But he went in there, he just froze. And Lawrence just made that fight he's on. He made it dirty. But you cannot argue with the result, though. You know?
At the end of the day, he would have studied. His coaches would have studied and gone, right, this is the way to win it. This is what we do. And this is where I'm not really buying into this whole kind of like, well, you should have stood still, or he didn't do that, and then therefore I couldn't do this. I don't care. I literally don't care. It's your job and my job as a coach. And sometimes it doesn't come off. And then you have to admit that the better person won on the day, don't you? Yeah,
but you can't expect your coach to do everything for you as well. You was a fighter. So
Amen.
In the army, there's a saying, we say they like thinking guardsmen or thinking privates. So you do not wait to be told everything. If someone is stood there shooting at you, sergeant or whatever, he's shooting at me, should I shoot back?
By that time, right?
You can't, exactly, you can't. So you as a fighter, that's I watch a lot of Mayweather fights. I study all these fights. You know, take for instance when he fought Zeb Judah, he was a southpaw. He didn't start normally how he starts his fights. With Shane Mosley, you know, got caught with a big right hand on the second round. You know, he wasn't winning that fight at the start, but he made the adjustments. That's why you always say a true fighter can always go in the ring and make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? These guys are taller or big. If a guy is taller or bigger than I am, right, play to advantages. Don't let me get that close. Spin me off. Do all that. Make the adjustments. The coach is not always going to do everything for you.
But you're assuming, though, that that's been done in the gym. And I'm talking about not even just from the point of view of the coach should be implementing it. You're assuming that the boxer has practiced that. So you're probably very well-rounded because you've got great coaches up there. That's the first thing. The army coaches are great. You've now got a great coach that's about the boxing. This is what I see. He's about the boxing rather than the glory. Yep. So you're going to be learning each little segment. You're going to be working away at that, and then you put it together in the ring. You're assuming that everybody has that, and they don't, Natty.
You have to take the initiative to, do you know what I mean? Do your own thing, because your cornerman can fight for you. They can teach you exactly. They can teach you everything that can do, but at the end of the day, it's you who sets foot in that ring, and you have to make the adjustments.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm going to throw it out there though, Natty. Some people you can't teach that. So I assumed when I became a coach, I assumed that you teach everybody. Think about it realistically. So you teach somebody something and you expect them to execute it in the ring, right? And sometimes they don't. And I personally thought in the beginning people were just being rude and disrespectful. And the fact is, I found out that some people can't. Because if you think about it, everyone would be a world champion otherwise, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's true.
Some people just cannot make that adjustment so they take in the information and for some reason it doesn't translate through the body?
Do you know what? Like, I think, see, with the army team, so beforehand it was just like any other regular club, but I think the closest thing to the army boxing team is Team GB, because
GB, I knew you were going to say that.
yeah, we've had you know, diet and nutrition coach, strength and conditioning coach,
Yeah.
a physician, psychologist, and all that sort of stuff. At first, I was thinking, why would I need a psychologist for? Like, I didn't talk to them for quite some time, but when I did, first thing they said, so how you feeling going into this fight then? I was like, well, you know, what they're really actually trying to do is draw the answers from you. They're trying to make you think, okay, oh yeah, I feel great. So what was the difference between, you know, the last fight that you had to this one? Are you 100%? Have you got any worries about, you know, niggles, all this and that? Right, okay. If you get to the arena, right, someone didn't turn up or someone gets knocked out and you have to go within the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Might not even warmed up properly.
Exactly. You know, people got rituals, ain't they? Like, I got my little ritual before before I have to go through that. So they're trying to like prepare you for the unexpected, like things that are out of your hand. Okay, cool. What are you gonna do then if you do this? Okay, cool. I'm gonna do X, Y, Z to counteract that, right? And then after the fight, they then talk to you as well. You know, so maybe a day or two after the fight, right? Cool, win or lose or whatever it may be. How did you feel? So basically, what they're trying to do, they're trying to draw the answers from you. Okay, you won, but did you win convincingly?
Yeah.
If your answer is no, what would you have done differently to get the outcome that you wanted? You know, so initially that gets you thinking, okay, cool, right? Even before the coach speaks to you about, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that, you already got the answers yourself. You already think, oh, rah, I kind of stepped off the gas like towards, you know, the end of the second round. I should have put more pressure in that.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's where they want thinking boxers.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.